Any of you who've watched some of my other videos know that I like to learn and study about making fire by primitive means, but sometimes you just need a lighter. Sometimes you might need a lighter to light a lantern or a camp stove, or maybe to fuse the end of a rope. Maybe your wife and kids are fussing at you to get the fire going so that you can make some s'mores. Sometimes you just need a fire. Sometimes you just need a lighter to get it done quickly. Now I've got a collection of lighters here that I thought I would share with you and talk a little bit about, tell you what I like and don't like. Maybe make some of my recommendations, and you could accept those recommendations or not as you choose. So my first lighter is the cheap quintessential lighter. It's just a Bic lighter. Actually, I think this is made by Scripto. Came in a package of 6 for $3 or $4. They light absolutely every single time. They last a long time. I've got one of these in the center console of my truck, maybe one in my glove compartment, and I've got one in my day pack. I carry one with me everywhere I go. If I need to light a fire, I've got this. I know this is a good backup to have. It's cheap, it's boring, no need to talk about it any further. You ought to have one. Another lighter I found recently, I think I found this at Menards about a year ago. Might make a great lighter for a patrol, maybe a scout patrol, to keep in their patrol box to light their stoves and lanterns with. It lasts probably a whole year, but it is refillable, so you can make it last. It's butane. It's got a little safety tab. Got to pull it off. It's got a little switch on the side, and I'm working inside today because there's so much light outside you can't see the flames in some of these lighters, and I've even got this little black card to help it out. But there's the flame. It's about 1.5 inch flame coming out of there. Real nice, real hot. And it's easily refillable. This is butane fuel refill, made by the Ronson company. I believe Zippo owns Ronson. And it's real easy to use. Pop the lid off. There's a refill hole in the bottom. Just put your butane refill canister in there and let it fill up. Now, I'm not going to fill the whole thing up, but it is refillable. That's kind of how you do it. Real handy. $2. So I'm going to get into some of my more interesting lighters, my Zippo style lighters. The first one is also a Ronson, made by the Zippo Corporation, I believe. I believe Zippo and Ronson are owned by the same parent company. This one is also a butane lighter. About 1.5 inch flame. Real handy. You can direct the flame. You can put the flame where you want it to go. Whatever it is that you're doing. Lighting a fire, fusing the end of a rope. The flame's adjustable. There's an adjustment knob on the bottom, and there's the butane fill port. Well, let's see, I had it upside down. There's the flame adjustment knob, and there's the butane fill port. Real handy. I got this for $2 at Walmart on clearance about a year ago. Here's my real Zippo lighter. First, my real Zippo lighters. It's got an American flag on it. Works like any Zippo. Nice little flame. Windproof. Mostly windproof. You can blow it out, but light wind won't blow it out. Gotta have a Zippo. Everybody needs a Zippo. Here's another one. This is a Victor. It's got Marilyn Monroe on it. I paid $8 for this on eBay. Works the same as the regular Zippo lighter. It's very nice. Probably everybody needs a Zippo lighter in their kit somewhere. But there's one thing I don't particularly care for when it comes to Zippo lighters, and that is that the fuel tends to evaporate. when I was carrying a Zippo lighter with me on my camping trips, I'd always have to check to make sure that I put fuel in it every single time I went camping. I'm not a smoker, so I don't use it a lot. The insert, this is sort of the case of the Zippo lighter. The insert has a cotton innards. I'm not going to pull it out, but you put your regular Zippo fluid, you squirt it into the cotton, fill it up till it gets nice and saturated. Let it sit for a while. Stick it back down in and carry it that way. That fluid tends to evaporate, and for me it would evaporate, you know, over a period of 2 to 3 weeks, and so I'd have to keep checking to make sure that the thing was full before I would take it out into the woods. That's the only thing I don't like about Zippos. Zippos are really cool, except for the fuel evaporates. I got a solution for that I'll share with you in just a minute. I will share with you some of my novelty lighters next. Here's my first lighter. It's called a Tesla coil lighter. Comes in this nice box. Comes in a nice pouch. It's charged electronically. It doesn't have any fuel. It runs off electricity. It's a 5-volt USB. Here's the lighter itself. It's real pretty. Here's the ignition button. And watch what happens. See that sort of purple-blue arc that's created? That's pretty cool. The only thing is, my son and I have discovered that when we use this lighter to light something, a fire, tinder, it tends to burn a hole through it instead of actually catching it on fire. So this is cool and interesting and neat as it is an electronic lighter. It's not really useful in the field. I don't much care for this one. I probably would not recommend buying one of these. My next novelty lighter is my trench lighter. This is a replica trench lighter. In World War I, the soldiers would make lighters out of spent shell casings, and this is kind of what they look like. This is a replica. This is not a vintage World War I authentic lighter, but it's pretty cool. You unscrew the bottom. It uses the same Zippo fluid as with the Zippo lighters. It's got a little O-ring seal, and to make it work, you kind of pull down on this ring, and the top cover kind of slips to the side, and then you light it just like you would a regular Zippo. Now that one is really cool. I like that a lot. But the fluid does eventually evaporate. Put it out, just push it back up, and the top cap will cover the wick, puts out the flame, and there you go. My next novelty lighter, that's actually very cool, is this guy. This is sometimes called a rope lighter because of all the rope hanging out of it. I've heard this called a trench lighter too, but I don't think that's really a proper name for it. I believe this is a more authentic trench lighter design. I've also heard this called a marine lighter or a sailor's lighter. I think probably a marine or sailor's lighter is probably a better idea. And the way this works is you kind of, well, you can take this little ball and pull some of the rope out, and you can see the end of the rope is charred, kind of like char cloth. But what I did, I pulled the rope out before I ever lit it, and I soaked it in a dilute solution of potassium nitrate, and what I did was I made this rope cotton slow match, and it will smolder like crazy. Just a little ferro rod in here and a little striker, just like with the Zippos and the trench lighter. Oops. There it goes. Now, that will just smolder like slow match tinder will smolder. You see that? That just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And I have no doubt that if you were a smoker standing on the windy deck of a ship, you could light your cigarette or your cigar with that. I don't smoke, so I wouldn't know for sure, but just imagine Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca lighting his cigarettes with one of these things. That would be pretty cool. And to put it out, you just pull it back down in there. Until that ball seals the top, and it will it'll choke off the oxygen, and it'll put itself out. Now I haven't tried this. One day I'm going to try this, try to maybe push this up a little bit further and use that smoldering in to light a tinder bundle. I haven't tried that yet, but I imagine that you could. Mostly this is just a novelty for me to talk about and demonstrate the virtues of slow match. But that's pretty cool. And then there is my absolute favorite lighter of all time. That's this one right here. If I'm camping, I've got this lighter on my belt right there, and I've got a little Bic lighter in my day pack. And in my day pack I probably have a flint steel kit, maybe my mini bow drill kit, maybe some other things, but for sure in my day pack I've got a cheap Bic lighter, and on my belt every time I walk into the woods I've got this lighter. This lighter is my favorite Zippo lighter. This is a leather pouch, Zippo branded. I think I paid about 20 bucks for it on eBay. Really worth the money. I love it. And this is my Zippo. Nice enameled red with a sugar skull zombie girl vampire picture on the front. It's really cool. I like it. And best of all, on the inside, I have a refillable, it's pretty snug, get it out, a refillable butane insert. Now this butane insert was made somewhere in China. Zippo, and I bought that butane insert before I discovered that Zippo actually makes their own butane inserts. But this, being a butane insert, does not evaporate. The fuel does not evaporate. Check this one out. Look at that torch. That's about a 2.5 inch hot directional butane torch flame coming out of there. Won't go out in the wind, won't evaporate. I fill that butane insert, I fill it up usually in the fall, at the beginning of the scouting camping season, and I might top it off before I go to summer camp just in case. But I don't, and when I do fill it up, I never have to fill it up more than halfway. It really uses fuel very efficiently. This is just a fabulous lighter. I love this lighter. I got some money in it though. I got about 20 bucks in the case. I got about $15 in the lighter itself, and probably another $15 in the butane insert. So I got probably about 50 bucks into that. So it's an expensive lighter setup, but man, I love this lighter. I've got it with me everywhere. I've lit 2 or 3 firecrafter fires, campfire program fires with this. Whipped countless, fused countless ropes with it. Lit a lot of lanterns and stoves. Just never fails. I love this. Highly recommended. So, anyway, if I was going to recommend one thing, I would say a Zippo lighter with a butane insert and a package of cheap Bic lighters. For maybe a patrol box, one of these butane mini torches, and I would not recommend one of these electronic lighters. They just tend to burn holes instead of light things on fire. And if you don't have a Zippo, you need to get yourself a Zippo. So that's my collection of lighters and my 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary, but I hope you have a good evening. Good night.